Welcome everybody to this video on the trappiest opening there is. It's for the move e4. We're going to take a look at the most played response, which is c5, the Sicilian defense. I've assembled the 10 best traps, so there's a lot your opponent can blunder. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you love the video. Leave a comment on what trap you like the most. Go try these out in your games and have fun. The first trap happens after e4, c5. Now if we play knight to f3 and the opponent plays d6, we're going to play c3, the delayed Alapin variation. And now if they attack our pawn with knight to f6, we play the move bishop e2, not defending the pawn at all, because if he takes the pawn, we're going to have the move queen a4 check, and we win the knight. So the opponent is trapped. Now for the second trap after e4, c5, we're going to take a look at knight f3, d6, c3, knight to f6, trying to take the pawn, bishop e2, but now instead of taking the pawn, they're going to play knight c6, and now we play d4, and the opponent might think they can take the pawn now, but after that, we're going to play d5, kicking away the knight, and simultaneously opening the line for the queen. So after knight e5, we're going to play queen a4 check, and they're trapped again. Now for the third trap, they're going to be just a little less greedy, because after e4, c5, knight f3, d6, c3, knight f6, bishop e2, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, c takes d4. They're going to take the pawn now, but once again they walk into d5, and after knight e5, we're going to play queen a4 check, and they're trapped again. For the fourth trap, we're going to take a look at the same variation, e4, c5, knight f3, d6, c3, knight f6, bishop e2, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, c takes d4, knight takes e4, but after d5 they're going to play the move queen a5 check, because now we have to play the move knight c3, they're going to take the knight, we take back with the b pawn. But now if they take the c3 pawn with the queen, we're going to play bishop d2, and they're trapped once again, because both pieces are attacked. Now for the fifth and final trap in this sub-variation, we're going to take a look at e4, c5, knight f3, d6, c3, knight f6, bishop e2, knight c6, d4, c takes d4, c takes d4, knight takes e4, d5, queen a5 check, knight c3, knight takes c3, b takes c3. After knight e5, we're going to take, and if they take back, we have to move castles. But if they take the pawn now, we have to move bishop b5 check, and after bishop d7, bishop takes d7, king takes d7, we're going to have queen a4 check, and if the king goes to d8, for example, we have to move bishop e3, and if they try to develop their pieces, well, too late, because now we have rook ac1, and they're crisscross applesauce trapped. Now for the sixth trap, we're going to take a look at a slightly different sub-variation, because after e4, c5, we're going to take a look at c3, and if they play knight c6, d4, c takes d4, c takes d4, if they play g6, they're in big trouble, because after e5, knight to e5, we're going to have the brilliant move f4, and the knight has no more squares to go to, and we're going to be able to capture it in the next move. Trap! Now for the seventh trap, after e4, c5, c3, they play the best move d5. Well, now we take the pawn and the queen takes back. We play d4, c takes d4, c takes d4, knight c6. Well, now we play knight f3 defending the pawn. If they pin our knight, we play bishop e2. And after takes, they might think, well, I can just take this pawn now. But no, because after bishop takes c6, b takes c6, the queen is up for grabs, queen takes d4, and you win the game. I'm not going to say it anymore. Now for the eighth trap, we're going to take a look at e4, c5, c3, d5, e takes d5, queen takes d5, d4, c takes d4, c takes d4, knight c6, knight f3, bishop g4, but now we're going to play knight c3. And if they take our knight now, we take the queen. If they take our queen, we play the move knight c7 check. After king d7, knight takes a8. Our knight is kind of trapped, but after bishop h5, d5, knight d4, bishop f4, we're going to get forked, but after king d2, knight takes a1, we have bishop b5 check, and after king c8, rook c1 check, after king d8, bishop c7 check, and after king c8, knight b6 check, which would be checkmate if they don't take the knight, and after a takes b6, bishop takes b6 check, king b8, we play the move bishop d7, and after any move they play right now, let's say e5, we have the move rook to c8, checkmate. Trapped! Oh man, how many more? For the ninth trap, I'm just gonna pick it up a tad later because it's such a long variation. After bishop h5, d5, knight d4, bishop f4, knight c2 check, king d2, knight takes a1, knight b5 check. Instead of king to c8, which gave us a checkmate threat, he's going to play king to d8. Well, now we have to move bishop to c7 check, and after king to c8, we have rook to c1. And take a look at all of these pieces right here. He's not going to be able to escape with this one. This one is offside. All these pieces are undeveloped. We're going to have a checkmate threat in a few moves. Okay, guys, I promise you just one more trick. Because after e4, c5, c3, d5, e takes d5, queen takes d5, d4, c takes d4, c takes d4, knight c6, knight f3, bishop g4, knight c3. What if they just retreat their queen? Well, they're in big trouble, because after d5, knight e5, we just take the knight, knight takes e5. If they take our queen, bishop b5 check. And now the only way to defend is queen to d7. And we can just take this queen, bishop takes d7 check, king d8, king takes d1. Let's say if they play f6, trying to kick away our knight and take the bishop, well, knight to f7 check, and king takes d7, knight takes h8, and everyone can win from this position. So retreating also sucks. Trap! I hope you guys really like this video. It's a different style than usual, but maybe it catches on, we don't know. But for the next videos, we're just going to continue the road to 2200. Like this video, subscribe if you want more content like this, and also, thanks a lot for watching. I love the views we're getting, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.